As we welcome Gonzaga to the dais, I'd let you know that today's game is their 10th straight opening round win, first round win, currently the longest active streak in the nation. We welcome Coach Few with Zach Norvell, Josh Perkins, Jonathan Williams. A reminder of today's format: we have 12 minutes. We'll ask Coach to make a brief opening statement. Then we'll direct questions to student athletes. Once the questions for student athletes are exhausted, we'll turn it back over to Coach Few. Coach?
Hey, it was a heck of a ball game. I think we sit up here and we feel very fortunate, to advance and to win. But at the same time, I'm proud of how my guys just hung with it and hung with it and hung with it. We knew it was going to be kind of that pace of a game. That's how UNCG plays. And I think we just made enough plays down the stretch to hold them off. But I thought they were really, really good, and I thought they were very good down the stretch. Those guards really hurt us with their penetration, and yet we were guarding them very, very well, and they were able to make some very, very difficult shots against some of our switches on the ball screens. But my guys kept their poise, and we continued to get good shots through all that, and made one more play than they did. So we're fortunate to advance.
When you have a question, please indicate by raising your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Questions for Gonzaga student athletes?
This isn't your first tournament. Just talk about the battle that you just went through.
Oh, my emotion's still on high. I'm up here shaking. He's still sweating. But I'm just glad I'm here with these guys and this coaching staff. Like I said, it's not my first tournament, but we're focused on this one. And like I said, I'm just glad I'm here with these group of guys, my brothers.
Zach, just getting a chance to make that shot there at the end of the game, is opportunities like that the reason you came to Gonzaga?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a really confident guy, and the coaching staff and all the guys around me, surrounding me, they always got confidence in me. I don't know how many shots I missed tonight, but every time I missed, all the guys came to me. Like, the next one's going in, and you have no choice but to make a big one.
Zach, on that shot, it did seem like you were feeling it. You saw that just an open window, and you took it. Just kind of walk us through that play and why you felt so confident taking that shot.
Throughout the whole game, they were trying to get over the ball screens really good, and they were showing really high as well. So I knew if I give him a little jab step, he'd try to get over really hard, and I was able to knock the shot down.
Josh, you made that shot to tie the game. You gave Coach a little stare right afterwards. I wonder kind of what was going through your mind at that point, what you were kind of trying to say, and then just kind of the emotions of all of a sudden you guys were behind, and then, like 30 seconds, it had all turned back around for you.
Yeah, things were all over the place. But, I just looked at Coach and just be like, hey, like we got this. And he looked at me and he said the same thing, like, all right, we trust in you and we trust in each other. So, I'm just glad I'm here with this guy, and we're not done yet.
For all the players, just what was the crowd like, and what was it like having them behind you tonight?
Let's start with Zach and work our way out that way.
It was great. Anytime you got Zag fans that can travel like that and have our back, and from the jump, they were really big for us. When we got down, they didn't sit down at all. They kept us going.
Yeah, as Snack said, it felt like a home game out there for us. A lot of credit to the people who showed the Zag fans some love tonight, and hope we keep doing it Saturday.
Jonathan?
We are the best fans in the country, or probably in the world, so I'm just glad they was able to come out and support us tonight. Really needed them in the stretch, and so they did an awesome job tonight.
For any of you guys, from the first 3 minutes, you guys had 3 turnovers. Was it jitters or was it their defense? And if it was the defense, how did you kind of push through that down the stretch?
Josh?
I don't know. I can't answer that question, but I'm just glad we didn't keep that trend going. I didn't think we turned the ball over that much that game. But if it was jitters, we got rid of them. So I'm glad that we got rid of them.
Coach, what's going to have to improve for Saturday?
Let's direct questions to student athletes, and when we're done with student athletes, we'll go to Coach Few. More questions for student athletes?
Jonathan, the matchup between you and James Dickey was really entertaining in the first half. What does he present from a length perspective, and why was it rubbing off on your other guys inside? Were having a tough time with him today.
It wasn't just him. It was also the other guy as well, number 32, because he had a big body. He was just bottling us up a little bit. And as far as Dickey, he's just long and athletic, and he can jump. And he just made it tough for us. And but we was able to make shots down the stretch. So, but he played an awesome game tonight, so I give him a ton of credit in the team.
All right, we'll thank the Gonzaga student athletes and dismiss them from the dais, and when they've left, we'll turn questions over to Coach Few. Thank you, guys. Questions for Coach Few?
Peter Huguenin from the Arbiter. What made you confident enough to play Perkins through 4 fouls?
Basically out of necessity. I mean, he's essentially the only point guard we have, and they were pressing us. But also, I mean, there's some trust built up after being with him and around him for 4 years. So it's a combination of probably both of those.
Mark, you've done this a few times now, 10 in a row. Does it get any easier? What were you telling the team when Greensboro was making their run?
No, it doesn't get any easier. You know, these first-round games are hard. They're really hard, and I think people get a little misled with when they see the seed numbers up there. That's a really, really good team that we were, like I said, fortunate enough to beat. They have a very good defensive plan that kind of just never quite let you get flow. I think we were able to get flow a couple times there, especially at the start of the second half, and then maybe around that 8 to 10 minute mark. But no, the only thing I kept telling our guys is just stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. We were taking great care of the ball down the stretch, and we were actually getting good shots on goal. I just felt we weren't quite finishing them. Even the ones that led up to Snacks' 3, Tilly had a great little floater that he makes all the time, and it was a very good play. And I think somebody else had a jump shot that was a great shot for our team offense. I think the thing that probably most surprised us is when when obviously pressure rises up a little bit and somebody's got to step up and just make a play, that's when you want those two guys. Perkins has hit shots like that for us. You know, last year he hit them, and this year he's hit them. And Norvell just has a knack for that. I mean, he just truly has a knack. I knew right when he sized the guy up that A, he was going to shoot it, and B, it was probably going to go in. So I was fine with it.
Mark, Eddie Pelz from AP. Can you tell us a little bit about Zach? I think he was a redshirt last year,
yep.
and kind of like he had to sit there and watch a lot of your great stuff happen. How did he deal with it?
I think he had some knee problems all through the summer and into the fall, and then I think reality hit him then. He was a little bit behind with everything, but he was looking at a backcourt that had Perkins, who had been a 2-year starter, Nigel Williams-Goss, who was a preseason All-American, Jordan Matthews, who was, a grad transfer who had unbelievable success, especially shooting the ball like Zach does at Cal, and then Silas was obviously going to play a lot of minutes because he's such a good defensive player. So I think he just understood that, and he's got a winning spirit about him. His an effervescence and a charisma that just is much needed with this team because it's a really quiet, introverted team, and he's certainly not any of that. And so he provides not only that stuff on the floor, but off the floor is very important.
Last question for Coach right here.
Mark, obviously, his first tournament game for Zach. Just talk about the confidence you had in him making that shot.
Well, he's done it a lot. I mean, he's really done that time and time again this year. And that might happen in the first half when somebody's on a 10-0 run against us and we're really struggling, or it might happen with 5 minutes to go in a game and they've shrunk our lead from 15 down to 7. And then he's just wired to, he's going to make a play. Now sometimes it's a bad play and sometimes it's a bad shot, but usually down the stretch of games, he's confident enough, and it usually goes in. But prior to that shot, guys, I mean, he was 2 for 11, so it wasn't exactly one of his greatest games in the Zag Uni. But again, I felt totally confident. Like I said, when he sized it up, I knew it was going in, and that's kind of what he does.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yep.
We'll remind you that the Gonzaga locker room is open for the time being. Todd Ziedler and Barrett Henderson are along to help you out. We welcome UNCG student athletes and Coach Miller to the dais. We'll remind you to please raise your hand when you have a question, and we'll get a microphone to you. If you could direct during the student athlete portion, which will come after Coach Miller's statement, if you could direct a question to a specific student athlete, that's helpful. And we'll go ahead and begin with a statement from Coach Miller.
Well, I don't think I could be prouder of my group. You know, we're, I think, 0 for 13 in the first half from 3, 3 for 8 from the free throw line, and we're in a 3-possession game at halftime, and I think that says a lot about kind of the toughness that we've had all year, the grit that we've had all year. So I felt really fortunate because I thought we got pretty good looks in the first half, that we had to kick some jitters off. And then in the second half, I thought things really opened up for us offensively. The ball started going through the basket. Certainly in the first half, James Dickey kind of kept us in it. Thought he was in a really good rhythm offensively. We probably could have done a better job getting him the ball in the second half. But in the second half, Demetrius and Francis beside me here really got us going with their plays, not just for themselves, but for other guys. And then our defense wasn't what I wanted it to be every time, especially to start the second half. But I thought we had some really tough possessions just to go get 50-50 balls. It's going to be interesting to go back and watch the tape because there was a couple scrums around the basket, and you're going to always kick yourself and go, what if type of thing, what if we'd have come up with that one or this one. But I thought our fight to the ball was pretty good. You know, I think we'll always think about that last minute or so and think kind of what if. You know, I could have made some better play calls. I changed the play call coming out of the timeout, and I think the one that I changed it to, they had it scouted, and I put Francis in a really tough position. I think if I'd have kept the first one, it wouldn't have been scouted, and we might have got a better look or not turned it over. And then I think for these young guys or the guys that will be returning, we can build on the fact that we had, you know, all off season we've been a good defensive team, but we can get better because, you know, we had a lead and we had 2 possessions to try to get stops to win a game, and we gave up 5 points in those 2 possessions. So there are some things that we can build on and learn from, but I couldn't be prouder of my group.
Let's take questions for UNCG student athletes, and when those are exhausted, we'll dismiss them from the dais and go back to questions for Coach.
For Francis, there seemed to be a play late in the second half where the ball skimmed off the rim and they did not reset the shot clock. I think the ball ended up in your hands. Do you remember that? And what happened, and how did that affect that sequence?
Well, to be honest, I didn't even notice it. You know, all I hear was coming, guys from the benches yelling at me like, "You gotta shoot the ball." So we kept playing. You know, and I think that play didn't really affect us as a team in the last stretch of the game. You know, probably. You know, really frustrated because me personally, I could have guarded the ball better in the last 2 possessions, and we could have had a better chance to win the game. But you know, absolutely, that play didn't affect us for the rest of the game.
Demetrius, Mark Few from Gonzaga said that he was surprised by how well you guys were able to penetrate and score as the guards. Just kind of your thoughts on why that was working so well, and you know how much of a difference that made today.
Well, I think it worked really well. Coach Miller he gives us a lot of freedom to just play very freely and open and confidently. And Coach was just giving us a lot of great play calls for us to be able to get into the lane, and we were able to continuously get down there and make things happen. So we just kept going with what was working.
Francis, the play with 20 seconds left where they called the foul on you, what was that play supposed to be? And take me through that sequence. What happened there?
You're talking about the one I was coming up the screens and they called offensive foul? Yeah, well, you know, I was hearing from the Gonzaga bench that they knew the play. So I was trying to, you know, set a ball screen for me. You know, the guy stepped on my feet. I kind of was leaning into him. You know, the ref called a charge, but some situations that happen during the game, and you know, you can control that. And I'm still, you know, frustrated about the defensive stops that I didn't get guarding the ball in the last position. In those situations, there are things that I can't control as a player, you know. But absolutely, that call, you know, that was a ref's decision, so I can't blame them.
All right, one more for student athletes.
Francis, Wes kind of mentioned a little bit, not making a three-pointer in the first half. He said you had some open looks. Looks like maybe you did. How would you kind of assess, what wasn't working and being to get those shots falling in the first half?
Well, of course, playing against a great team as Gonzaga and not making wide open threes or good looks is gonna hurt you by the end of the game. Some threes they went in and out, but it happens. We stayed true to our values on the defensive aspect as a team. We knew that some shots are not gonna go in, and it happened today, unfortunately. But we fought, as Coach said, in the defensive aspect and the other side of the court. And we kept competing. We kept competing as a team, and we didn't give up. So we gotta be proud of that. But of course, really sad because we didn't have our day offensively.
All right, we'll thank these two student athletes and dismiss them from the dais. Thank you, guys. And once they've left, we'll turn questions over to Coach Miller. Thank you, guys. We remind you that the UNCG locker room is open. Matt McAllister will help you and the UNCG Athletic Media Relations staff. Questions for Coach Miller?
You have only one senior in your starting lineup. What else? Two. My bad. Two seniors in your starting lineup. What can this team do to build for next season, and how encouraging is it to know that you'll have players coming back?
Yeah, we hit on that in the locker room. We've really worked hard to try to build culture on a day-to-day basis in our program. And I told our guys in the locker room that our seniors from last year, Deontay Baldwin and R.J. White, were probably really proud today watching us play in the NCAA tournament, and that for the returning guys, Jordy Kuiper and Marvin Smith and Garrett Collins and Justin Jordan, our seniors this year, will be really proud if we can take a step forward and keep growing our program. So we do have the opportunity to keep growing and moving forward. And, I am excited about the young guys in our program and the returning guys. These two guards sitting up here today that are pretty darn good players will be seniors next year. So hopefully we can continue to try to grow one at a time.
Coach, you said you put Francis in a tough position. I know there were two possessions, the offensive foul, and there was one where he was really behind the 8 ball trying to get a shot off. But I just wanted to get your breakdown of what happened on those.
Yeah, we had the ball there, and I looked up, and there's 50 seconds or so on the clock. And, we were struggling to guard him in the second half. I felt like we were searching at times, and I felt like, we tried the zone a little bit. We were trying to mix up how we were playing the post, but I felt like sometimes we were lucky they missed some quality threes. I mean, I thought we really guarded in the first half. I didn't think we were as good defensively, so I looked up and, it's kind of a feel thing. Sometimes I've gone 2 for 1 with this team. Sometimes I haven't. But I looked up and I said, man, we can go 2 for 1. So I wanted the ball in Francis's hands. We've done that a lot this year, and we really needed a basket. We just kind of give him the ball and give him space. So we set a high ball screen, and I was trying to get us to go faster because I wanted to get the 2 for 1 opportunity, which we did. But I don't think he got a great look, and I probably sped him up a little bit. And then, coming out of the timeout there, after Norvell hit the big 3, again, I had a call out of the same set, and I kind of changed it to another call in that set. And the one that I changed it to, they had scouted, and I put him in a tough position. I didn't think any of our calls were bad calls, but I think you always kind of go, what if type of thing. What if you'd have done this better? I think that's what you do in this situation as a player and a coach. I think people always say, man, you were pretty gutsy to throw that lob there. When you were up, I don't know if it was tied or we were up 2, but they were starting to really extend on pin downs. I love Demetrius and James. They've connected on a lot of lobs this year, and we weren't going to be afraid tonight. We were going to come out swinging. So people might think that's a gutsy call, but I thought James could have caught it and come down with it, and there might have been a little contact there. We'll have to look at the film, but we didn't execute as well as we wanted in the last minute and a half. That's for sure, and we'll have to go back to the film and learn from that.
3 more questions. Start right back here.
Coach, 2 things about James. You pulled him out about 90 seconds into the game. What did you talk about there? And 2, were you surprised how well he got off the block offensively against a team that's very tall and very long on the inside like he is?
You mean 90 seconds in the first half?
Yeah, like right.
He gave a tired signal, which is why he came out there early. I thought he was in a great rhythm offensively. Our team was in a really good rhythm offensively. We just couldn't seem to, make the quality shot. We got quality shots. We just couldn't seem to make them. But he was the one guy that had it going a little bit. And, the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been sped up a little bit on offense. He's so excited. He plays with such good energy. I thought he really had slowed down around the basket tonight, and that's kind of who he's been most of the year. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's had a couple plays where you thought he should finish, and maybe he was just a little too excited. Tonight, he was really under control with the ball there, and we're not even in the game in the first half offensively if it's not for him. He was tremendous tonight, and he was the defensive player of the year in the Southern Conference, and you look down, and he's got 11 rebounds again tonight, and I thought he was a factor defensively. So he's a tremendous young player, and we feel fortunate he'll be back for the next 2 years.
Wes, you talked yesterday about the problems that they present for you in the post. You out-rebounded this team tonight. How pleased were you with that effort, and particularly the effort inside by your guys?
Well, I thought we had to do that to give ourselves a chance. I thought we made a great effort to go get the ball in the second half. Like I mentioned, didn't think we guarded as well. I don't think it was for lack of effort. I mean, they're just a really good team, and give them credit. I mean, they can really execute offense. All 5 guys are skilled and can make plays. So we were struggling. But the one thing I did think we did well, Jeff, was we pursued the ball well. I mean, my favorite play of the night, and Marvin going for a loose ball, gets knocked to the ground. And instead of, sometimes that's frustrating. You thought you had it, you get knocked off your position. He just sprints up and goes and gets a big-time rebound in traffic. So I thought we had an edge in the second half to go get the ball, even though I did think they were in a pretty good rhythm offensively.
Last question.
Wes, Mark talked about how essential he thought it was that they guarded the 3 really effectively against y'all. He also said that he thought you guys were exceptionally efficient at, driving for 2s in the second half. Did you emphasize in any particular way dribble penetration as a reaction to what they were trying to do to you?
We're a spread team. We try to open the floor up and let guys go. We do like to shoot the 3. I mean, we got 22 looks, and I'll venture to guess that 18 of them were pretty good looks for us. But I do think they were really extending on us, and it allowed guys to get downhill. The one thing we did really emphasize was being strong with the ball when we did drive. We thought we could drive it, but they're really good at coming in there and getting deflections and hands on it. We've seen that on tape. We drilled that this week, and we talked about it a lot and showed film of it.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.